Your presentation in regards to the reopening of this coming school year, which will start on August 26th. What's going to happen now next is, for those who are not familiar, we will be taking public comments from the audience in person first, and then we'll move on to any comments that are coming in through Zoom. I will read the following rules that I always read every meeting. Speakers wishing to address the board on agenda topics have completed the appropriate submission forms on the district website. And in case for those of you in person who wish to speak and have not submitted in a card, please go ahead and do so right now. Please be advised that the time allotted for public comments on agenda items is limited to 3 minutes per comment. Time allotted for each agenda item is 30 minutes per topic. A speaker may not relinquish his or her time to another. Dr. Gerson, as the clerk of the board, I'm going to ask you again to measure the 3 minutes per comment allocation.
Madam President, if I may, I believe I see some folks in the audience filling out cards. This may take us more than 10 cards, and so if everybody took 3 minutes, it might be over the limit. We've got 5 speakers online, and then
of course.
Turned in. So just want to let the board know if we do have more than 10 speakers, and they all take the 3 minutes, it'll be more than the 30 minutes. So the board would need to discuss whether or not at that point in time, if you want to continue to let people speak.
Thank you, Dr. Stowe. Yeah, at that point in time, we'll see where I will still have comments made that people who wants to comments, and then we can decide whether or not
They want to shut us
spend
down.
the normal time of 30 minutes. And also,
I think it's kind of unfair for the people online. You guys, we're going to do these ones first.
That's the rule. No, that's the rule. That's how it always is. You can't change
The board can make that determination how you like to do it.
I would like to suggest that we go one live, one live, or on.
Well, it looks as though there might be 5 cards and 5 people online. So if everybody took the maximum 3 minutes, you're right at 30.
We're good.
Before I call on to the first person to speak in person, I want to just put into the record that before the meeting started, we have asked the audience, in-person audience members to please put their mask on pursuant to the LA County rule order that everybody has to be wearing a mask when they're in person. Just want to put that into record that we have requested that. The first speaker to come up will be Summer Bailey. Please come up here on the podium.
Can you hear me? Are we good?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Should I just go? Okay.
Go ahead.
Hello, members of the board. I understand that TUSD will be mandating the use of face masks and testing for certain circumstances for the return of in-person school instruction. Since masks and COVID tests are approved for EUA only, TUSD is ignoring that the mandate violates federal law. Any product approved by EUA only, individuals must be given informed consent. I have not received this for my child. Title 21 USB 360BB 3 of the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act states consequences to whom the product is administered are informed, including the option to accept or refuse administration of the product of the consequences, if any, of refusing administration of the product and of the alternatives to the product that are available and of their benefits and risks. Humans are protected through a Bill of Rights and must be given the opportunity to decide to consent or not to consent to a medical experiment without the intervention of any element of force, fraud, deceit, duress, coercion, or undue influence of the subject's decision. CDC guidance on testing in school settings as of December 4th, 2020 states, if a school is implementing a testing strategy, i.e. testing health healthy and sick, not based on symptoms. Testing should be offered on a voluntary basis. It is unethical and illegal to test someone who does not want to be tested, and including students whose parents or guardians do not want them to be tested. While I recognize the importance of the medical response to the COVID-19 pandemic, I do not consent or agree to mandatory or required testing, the new COVID injection, or participation in numerous EUA programs. I also understand I nor my child can be discriminated against through removal of in-person instruction or penalized thereafter. Failure to respect this right to refuse notice presents a numerous of serious ethical, medical, economic, and legal risks. As parents and advocates, we will not fail to take the maximum action permissible under the law against TUSD and against individuals personally. I urge you to comply with federal and state law and advise children that they have a right to refuse to wear a mask and testing as a measure to prevent or reduce COVID infection from COVID-19. Any other course of action is contrary to the law. LA County Health Department are not the ones forcing these guidelines on our kids. You are. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey. Our next person is Raphael Huang.
Hello, board members. My name is Raphael Huang. I'm really sick and tired of you imposing all those health mandates. This is a Chinese communist tactic. I'm not sure why you are forcing the kids to wear the mask and get the mandated testing. Why, you got the money from the Chinese Communist Party?
Right? Wow. Yeah, who's paying you?
Yeah, we taxpayers are paying your salary. You are not our king or queen.
Yeah.
How dare you!
Woo-hoo.
I'm really sick and tired of somebody telling me what to do. What the hell is going on? You think that because I'm a nation, I should say nice to fellow Asian Americans? Hell no! Please stop this mandate immediately. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Huang, for your comments. If I may say, Government Code Section 54957 requires us to, if there are any disruption in the board meetings, we could first ask if there are any press present, and then second, we will be convening the meeting in private meetings if we need to do so. The next speaker that will be coming up will be Mr. Arthur Schaefer.
Could you record me?
Yeah, I know. What did you say? Yeah, take your mask off so we can tell you.
We are gonna record you.
Okay, so my name is Arthur Schopper, up here too. So I think it's interesting. We couldn't quite hear you because you had your mask on. That made it very difficult to understand you. So right away, that's a problem. Second of all, the chief law enforcement officer for Los Angeles County, his name is Sheriff Alex Villanueva, he declared categorically that he will not enforce these orders. Now, if the chief law enforcement officer says no, then that's it. It's over. These are not laws. I heard the word guidance. Guidance is not a law. Guidance is not some sacrosanct policy that people are bound to follow. This is outrageous. And to hear that volunteers to this school district will be forced to be vaccinated, this is outrageous. And on top of that, you had a choice. You didn't have to impose that requirement. Shame on you. I can't believe this. This is the first I'm hearing this. Jeremy, I talked to you last year about what those kids were doing in Madrona, and you gave me your time. And Mr. Hahn, you just responded to me, and so did you, Betty Lou. But now you're just going to fall over and let them get away with this? This is outrageous. And I'd like to remind you, school districts, they have a pretty small voter turnout. You know what that means? A recall isn't that hard to do.
Yeah, recall.
I'm appalled. I remember 6 years ago when I stood before that school board, and I wanted every one of them gone, and they're gone. Especially Don Lee and Mike Wormers, who thought it was appropriate to mock members of the community because they asked him questions. He said, "What, are you bored?" No, we're engaged. And that's what we're doing here and now. I want you to notice the police department rightfully did not enforce an unlawful order.
Shame on you!
Pie off your faces and start complying with our Constitution. You took an oath to the Constitution, not to Barbara Ferrer, not to the Board of Supervisors. They do not have the authority to be imposing masks whenever they feel like it. And this vaccine mandate nonsense, this is a violation of international law, as well as our Constitution. The Nuremberg Code. It violates the Fourth Amendment.
Crimes against humanity.
It violates the Fifth Amendment.
Obama having a
This is
parade with
outrageous.
600 people with no masks.
This is disgusting.
Informed consent.
I need to remind all of you again, you took an oath of office to the Constitution and you work for us. We don't work for you. Frankly,
Yes.
we should ask every one of you to leave.
Yeah!
For doing this. This is outrageous. And I am urging every parent in Torrance Unified to instruct their students, their sons and daughters, go to school, don't wear a mask.
Yes.
You cannot suspend a child for defiance. Governor Newsom signed off on that.
Thank
But I
you for
think
your
we should
comments,
have you
Mr.
recalled.
Speaker. Thank you for your comments.
Recall!
Our next speaker, and just to let you know, I am accepting more cards up until this point. It's unusual for us to allow in cards afterwards. So if there's anybody else who wants to write a card, please do so right away, and this is it. Our next speaker is Mr. Aaron Baker.
Hello. Thanks for taking the time to listen to me. This is my first time ever doing this, speaking to a school board. I have a daughter in your school district, and I have 2 adult daughters who attended Torrance schools, and my wife attended Torrance schools. And we love Torrance. I mean, we live in Torrance, we've lived here a long time, we love this city. But to stand by and see you just willingly comply with what the LA County is telling you to do is just really disheartening. I mean, I understand we're in the midst of a pandemic, but we're a year and a half in now. We know a lot now that we didn't know a year and a half ago. And I appreciate what Torrance has done in trying to bring the kids back into the blended learning program last year. But enough is enough. I mean, how long are we willing to put up with this?
I agree.
This mask stuff. I mean, it's been a year and a half. Are we willing to put up with it for 2.5 years, or 5 years, or 10 years? As long as Barbara Ferrer says we should put masks on our kids, that's how long we're willing to put up with it? I just don't hear any voices of reason saying enough is enough.
Yes.
We need you to push back on the county and say this is where we draw the line. I mean, you know, to me, I hear you, you know, we've got a lot of doctors up here, and I hear you talking about social emotional health of our children. What do you think it does to our children during a time in their life where they're supposed to be learning social skills and interacting with each other and smiling and making friends, that they can't even see each other's face expressions or their smiles? What do you think that does to their social emotional health? I mean, seriously, we've got a single variable approach to life now. I mean, I've got some stats here from the CDC, and it's very clear that this virus is not dangerous to children.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't care how many CNN stories you guys read about it. Go to the CDC website. All the data is there. In the entire pandemic, 349 children ages 0 to 17 have died of COVID. 349.
That's it?
Okay, this same year, with everything shut down, 188 kids have died of flu. In previous 2018 and 19, 488 or 477 children have died of flu. So we're talking numbers that are on par here with those numbers, and we didn't have kids wearing masks back then. So you tell me, oh, we're trying to protect the teachers. The teachers can all get the vaccine if they want it.
There you go.
That's it. Problem solved. We were all told all along, oh, as soon as the vaccine comes, no problem. Okay? Oh, it's the Delta variant. It's still good against the Delta variant, we're told. So the teachers, they're protected. We don't have to worry about them. If they want the vaccine,
Thank you, Mr.
they get
Baker.
it. Okay? The kids, 349. That's your 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Baker.
0.06% of the total child deaths, of total
3
COVID
minutes
deaths.
is up. Thank you very much for your comments.